So, please take your seats. They're just adjusting the volume. I have a loud voice and a microphone. Welcome. Let's check if the technology is working. It's very fast. Welcome. Benvenuti. Good afternoon. Nothing. I'm going to leave and come back again. Let's try one more time. Good afternoon. Ecco. Thank you. We have to talk to each other over the next few days. And you will be doing this in a big room like this, also in some small spaces. So get comfortable, relax. I'll tell you a little bit more about me in a short while. But we are here in Rome on behalf of the Italian National Agency, and I would like to hand over the formalities and a formal welcome to Ismene Tramontano from Inapp. Ismene, over to you.
Thank you, Paul, and welcome. Good afternoon. I am Ismene Tramontano, and I am the director of the National Erasmus Plus Agency for the VET sector, which is located within the National Institute for the Development of Public Analysis. I am proud to have you all here in this special day. This is special not only because we have our transnational cooperation activity, but also because, as you know, today is the International Day for the Elimination of the Violence Against Women. So I would like just to remind us this particular event. And a welcome to Rome also on behalf of the president of Inapp, Mr. Natale Forlani, and on behalf of the Ministry of Labor, which is the national authority for the program Erasmus for the VET sector, which is the sector for which our agency is competent. So Mr. Andrea Simoncini asked me to say you a special welcome for this event. First of all, I would like to thank all of you and someone in particular on my right, the European Commission, represented by Francesca Maltauro, who is the a very expert person on this, on the theme of our seminar, and then the director of Salto Digital, Mr. Pasi Silander, and the representative of the Erasmus Plus agencies from Poland, Mr. Karol Sobestiewski, sorry for the pronunciation, Karol. And from Spain, we have Mr. José María Guarinos, and from Slovakia, Mr. Pavel Galas. They are also involved, these three national agencies. They were also involved in the long-term activities, which is the framework of our contact seminar. The long-term activities was digital transformation in VET and was coordinated by the VET Italian agency, ours, and implemented so by the agency of Poland, Slovakia, and Spain. So thank you. And you know that this type of cooperation between Erasmus Plus agencies aims to improve the implementation of the program and make it more strategic and impactful. My colleague, Michela Volpi, on the left side, who is the digital contact point of our agency, and then our TCA officer, Loredana Ceccacci, will take the floor later to present some of the main results of the research project. Of course, the theme of the seminar is crucial, is central. We live in a complex world where digitalization is changing almost every aspect of our work and daily lives. And the education and training system is increasingly part of this digital transformation. During pandemics in recent years, we have lived a strong acceleration in the adoption of technology in education. And in this period, we have learned how digitalization can be supporting in ensuring continuity of education and increasing access to learning opportunities for a wider audience, of course, including in particular those with the fewer opportunities. After the emergency, we understand also that the full adoption of digital education requires also adequate investment in technological equipment, but not only in connectivity, in digital skills development, and appropriate pedagogical approaches. And on this, Pasi will tell us something very important. Otherwise, without these elements and also more elements, we will face the risk that the potential of digital tools cannot be fully exploited and can also generate negative effects such as a progressive exclusion of the most vulnerable targets from quality education. I refer, and this is one of the main points in my opinion, one of the main points is to reflect about, that is in these 2 days, the importance to involve more and more vulnerable groups. I mean those students with the fewer opportunities, because this is our main target group for the vet sector, because in Italy we know that most of, not most, but a lot of our participants are from this vulnerable group and are the so-called fewer opportunities. So the point, in my opinion, these 2 days is how to, one of the main points, Paul, is how to face the risk of the exclusion of these people. Erasmus, of course, is a cornerstone of European digital education strategy, the Education Action Plan 2021 and 2027. And I think this will be the right seminar to discuss about all this. The program therefore offers the education and training community the opportunity to keep pace with the digital evolution and to ensure that no one is left behind this process of digital transformation. Again, I thank all of you for being present and for wanting to share with us the commitment to making Erasmus increasingly effective and impactful. At the end, a special thank to the communication unit of our agency and of Inapp, in particular to Michela Ricciuti and to Francesca Franchi for the overall organization of this event, together with, again, our TCA officer, Loredana Ceccacci. Also, thank you to the interpreters for the great job they do, for the inclusion of those people who are in this important target group, which is those of that one of fewer opportunities. I now leave the floor to my colleague, inviting you to take advantage of this opportunity and wishing you a fruitful work.
Thank you, Ismene. Yes, setting the scene, the big challenges, the big issues. But don't worry, we're going to take small steps, because I think that trying to change the world in a day is never easy. But you have 3 days, so I expect great things. Okay, I try not to click too fast. I try to think from time to time, how do I introduce myself short and sharp? VET is what we are. Let's think V-E-T, vivacious. Visible. I love vocational education and training. European, I like this one. And T, as a trainer, as somebody who spends his life going on that journey. I spent the last 30 plus years working in and around European funding in vocational education and training. It's something I'm very passionate about. I'm glad to be here to go on this journey of discovery over the next few days. So my job is really just to keep things moving. And for those of you with orange neck pieces, we're going to spend a lot of time together. That's all I'm going to say. I'm in one of the workshops. We are more than just one person. We heard already from Ismene, but there are other people from the agencies. The national agency staff, please stand up. Let's see who you are. Maybe we can just get the microphone from here and give a few people who have a more active role a chance to say hello. Franca, let's start with you.
My name is Franca, and I will coordinate together with Pavel the working group, the second working group on inclusion.
Then I feel, no, and then I have to go to Pavel. You almost made the link. This is my exercise for the day, you know.
Thank you from Paul to Pavel. Hi, everybody. I'm from Slovakia, and I'm going to be with Franca in the second workshop. I'm working in Slovakian NA as an analyst and researcher.
Okay, Pavel, I think we go try and gender balance here. Loredana.
Good morning, my name is Loredana. You received some emails from me, and I am the TCA officer, and I am in the workshop number 3, Beyond Vocational Skills.
Okay, who else do we have over here? Over to you.
Thank you. Hello, are you happy to be here? We are very happy that share this experience. There's no path between all of us. And I'm Jose Maria. I came from Spain, and I will be in the 3rd workshop.
We're promoting the orange one, you know. Hey, over to Karol, I guess.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Karol from Poland. I hope you're enjoying your time in Rome. I'm here to support workshop number 1, and well, professionally, I'm a research and analysis team coordinator at Polish NA. Thank you.
Okay, and of course we must not forget in the top table here, you have like multiple roles today. Michela.
Good morning to everybody. I'm Michela Volpi, and I'm from the Erasmus plus Inapp National Agency, and I will coordinate workshop 1, promoting twin transition, together with Karol. So see you tomorrow.
So thank you very much, everybody. You can see that we're ready for you. We have lots of things planned, lots of chances for you to discuss, debate, and if I look at the title, we talk about concrete implementation through Erasmus+. This has to be our goal over the next few days. And of course, we have a little bit tried to encapsulate that in the program. In the first day, I'm not going to read this out, you've all seen it on Padlet somewhere, but in the first day, we're going to plant the seeds of these possible future projects to give you the inspiration, the theory, the passion behind the need for change. And we will hear from some wonderful speakers today from the Commission and from Salto. By the end of today, you will already know which groups you're going to and what those groups will do. And we will hear again later from Michela, from Franca, and also the results of the bigger exercise that landed us here today. Okay, so everything is today about planting the seed. Then there will be dinner, you get to eat, and trust me, eating in Italy is an important thing. It's a profession, I think. It's a challenge and a profession. But we will make you work for your supper. More instructions later. And then the final day, of course, after the workshops tomorrow, where we take you through on that journey of inspiration, ideas, partnerships, and progression. We help you to take the idea into something competitive that might have a chance at getting some money somewhere in the future. After all, that's why we are here. And on the last day, you have a chance to perform, to come to the front and to share your vision with the rest of the room. That's the 3-day picture. But you don't all know each other. And we thought, what a wonderful opportunity now, very quickly, to give you a chance to get to know some people in the room. Of course, we could spend the whole day if we go around each table and listen, so we're going to do it on a kind of row by row. We are in the middle of a significant change in society. Technology plays a very important role, and as humans, we are often left questioning, what about me? Where is my role in this new technological society? And so I like to balance, this is our hybrid welcome, our hybrid introduction. We want to give a little bit of humanity and a little bit of digital. So the first exercise we will ask you to do will be, because we all traveled here, we've already invested in that carbon footprint, we have to make it worthwhile, we use our voice. So rapid introductions, just a couple of minutes. On each row, Loredana, it will be you and I. We've never met before. But on each row, okay? And if you are a row of 1 or 2, turn around and talk to your neighbors behind you. That's absolutely fine. First name, country, which organization you represent. And in addition, and this is important, add together how many years you have been working in this European transnational collaboration, okay? And I want to know the number at the end, just the number. So 5 minutes for that, and then you're going to need your phones because we're going to do a digital exercise as well. So spend a few minutes, say hello to each other. So, hopefully you have a number. You need to have a number for me. Remember, total years of international collaboration. So we're going to start here. Did you chat about numbers? Franca, I think you're setting a high bar. What is the total number from your table? Number of years?
44. 21 from me, 21. 23 for me, 21 from Arish. So
okay, 44.
Exactly.
So we're going to pass it back. Let's see. Okay, shh. Let's hear these numbers now. We just want the number. Total.
10 years.
10 in total.
Yes. No.
21. 21. Okay, nice. Now the ones who didn't add it up, they're quickly. 14, 1-4. Oh, there's in total. Oh, very new. Okay, let's keep going. Shh.
The two of us, we have 10. We all have 30.
13.
30.
Oh,
30.
30. Okay. I see a few gray hairs here. Huh? 30. In total. Oh, very young, beautiful. Babies, okay. Last row, my God, must be hundreds of years here, huh?
50.
50. Mm-hmm. Okay. From the back, let's see. In total? 66. Next one, huh?
49.
49. Next one.
I'm infant, 1.
1. And your neighbors in total? 21. And you? You're with them. 21. Keep going. Next row.
13.
13.
Well, me and my lovely colleagues have 49 years of experience.
49. And I should admit, this group, I joined them because there were just 2 people. So together, we have
51.
51. And they're not all mine, honestly. Okay, add together, carry the number, like 300-400 years of experience in the room. That is fantastic, but a lot of pressure. Huh? A lot of pressure to, first of all, recognize those who are in the single digits. They are new, the language is strange, be patient, take them on the journey with you, but also to recognize the potential that they will ask you to question what you think you know already, and that's also very exciting. So it was nice. There was a noise in the room that I enjoyed a lot, which was the noise of humanity. But now let's move to digital. Oh my God, that was quick, huh? Everything is double click here. Let's go. Okay, I think that's it. So scan this. There will be one question. I can't remember what it says, but it's something around with what are your expectations for this event? We don't need an essay, a dissertation, a paragraph, or even a sentence, maybe 1 or 2 words, to encapsulate what you think you will get from being here. Of course, to see beautiful people and a beautiful city, that's natural, that's part of the game. So what do you hope to achieve? So it's one step further, not to just get from this, what do you hope to achieve at this event? Okay, people are typing, this is good. This is funny because I tried this live Slido scenario a couple of weeks ago in Warsaw, and I clicked and nothing happened. So, you know, I took myself on the journey to say, doesn't mean failure, Paul, it just means you have to try something different. And we did it again, and look at this. Wonderful, live, new ideas, new partnerships. I think that really encapsulates it all. There are lots of other things, inspiration, digital tools, learning and experience, new contacts, networks, making new collaborations, etc. Beautiful, wonderful. It's gonna stay live. In addition, so now we've balanced the human and the digital. We have captured the noise of the room, and the digital noise as well is there. And this is good, this is something that we can remain live with. Okay, we also have this one. So you've typed into this, you're ahead of the game. What I wanted to show you was this, that you can type your questions. Now this is not just for now, but you can type your questions for any of the speakers that we have today. That's no pressure on you guys, but what I will do, rather than have them constantly appearing on the screen, because of course we start to read them and stop listening, I will keep an eye on the questions on this piece of tech here. And after each speaker, I will have a look, and if there's something important that we need to ask, I will ask it. And if you don't say anything in digital form, I will take the human form and come out here with the microphone, and I will ask you, do you have any questions? So both are absolutely possible in this event. And as I say, you can see now that this is what I will see. So can you send us the updated schedule? The times are displayed are not the same as the ones printed in the bag. I love this. React live. Loredana, can we upload a digital schedule? The answer is yes. There you go. Very simple. Okay, so we keep that live. This is going on. But what I would like to do now is to invite Michaela to share with us a little bit about what's really going to happen step by step in this event. Are you staying up there or are you coming down?
I think I stay here because I'm one of the dinos, you know, I'm like more or less old lady. Not only experience, I would prefer experience, but I'm coming also more.
Over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Paul, really, for this nice opening session. And I think that before going into the deep part of our afternoon, we would like to really provide you some, let's say, overview on which are the main goals and expected results of this event. As many already mentioned, that we are this event is part of the long-term activity coordinated by our national agency, which was launched in 2022, with the idea to, let's say, analyze the results and the effects of the Erasmus Plus KA2 strategic partnerships in the vet field, with a focus on digital transformation. This activity was coordinated by our national agency with the support of the Polish, of the Spanish, and the Slovak national agency, which we thank once again very much for their fruitful cooperation along the years. And the idea of the long-term activity was exactly that one, not only to analyze what was already done and achieved in the field of, let's say, digitalization, considering that the project explored were those of the previous programming phase, so 2014-2020 projects. So when COVID didn't yet happen, so of course the digitalization was completely different, the theme. But still, during the research, later on we will listen to some of the results collected during the research, let us, let's say, gather some interesting results. So, because the idea was not only to collect results of what was already carried out in the field, but also to somehow support the implementation of ongoing projects and possibly inspire future initiatives. As in the meanwhile, the COVID, let's say, exploded the theme of digitalization. And as was already anticipated by Ismene in 2020, the Digital Education Action Plan, as you might know, set the framework, let's say, for the digitalization and for the two main strategic priorities to be reached. So a high-performance digital education and enhancement of the digital skills. Of course, in this scenario, Erasmus Plus is going to play a key role in supporting this strategy, both with mobility projects and with cooperation partnership projects, which is the main focus of our event. During the event, we also would like to provide you, thanks to the contribution of Francesca that we are going to listen, also with an overview on the policy framework, on the several EU initiatives and tools and resources which has been implemented and are going to be implemented year by year to concretely support the digital education and transition, with a focus also on vets. We also thank Pasi for his contribution that we are going to listen, because we really think that especially vet experts and educators and professionals need to have a little bit more attention towards digital pedagogy. Because one point that we think should be really addressed, it's also the quality in the training offer, with really a focus on digital pedagogy. And the last but not least, we would like to, let's say, also think to the main Erasmus Plus transversal priorities, not as a standalone teams, but as interconnected paths. So this is the reason why tomorrow we are going during the workshop to, let's say, to match the four main themes of Erasmus Plus, so digital and green, digital and inclusion, and digital and participation, in order really to enhance as much as possible the contribution that the program could provide towards the digital transition from different point of view. As for the, let's say, the expected results that we would like you to acquire, we already saw from your inputs that, of course, we would like you to achieve a better knowledge on which is the policy scenario, on understanding what exactly mean the digital priority and the connection with the other program priorities, but also how to somehow concretely embrace the digital transition at both project and organizational level. We also would like to provide you with some expertise from our keynote speakers and experts, really to how to really get insights into the core part of digital teams. Because as already mentioned, was mentioned by Ismene, we of course have to focus more a little bit on digital pedagogy, so on quality of educational offer, but also to address the potential risks connected to digitalization, such as, for example, the digital divide, or also address all those emerging, let's say, challenges such as the disinformation, cyberbullying, and so on. All themes that we will see are strictly connected to the 2025 year of European citizen education, digital education. And then, of course, we would like you to give the possibility to know each other, to meet new colleagues, let's say, with whom implement new project ideas, and possibly really to expand your network. So let's moving a little bit to, let's say, your profile. In total, we are now 43 participants coming from 14 European member states and third countries associated to the program. And all of you are, and if we also consider NA staff, keynote speakers, and facilitators, we will reach 57 people in total. Our idea when planning this event was to match up a little bit the more experienced and the less experienced participants, because in a kind of really capacity building approach, so that the more experienced could share with the other, with the less experienced or newcomers, their expertise and help them growing up with their experience. Today, the event, as you might have seen from the agenda, is envisages 3 plenary sessions, so the current one, and then tomorrow after the workshops, we will have a challenge-based activity which will be held in the plenary here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then a last session on the third day, which will be in a plenary. But the core part, let's say, of the event will be tomorrow. Tomorrow, so if today we are here a little bit to learn and to listen, then tomorrow it would be the day really to start working on project ideas and to get to know each other more strictly. The 3 workshops, as you already know, are addressing the first one, the theme of green and digital transition, the second one, digital and inclusion, and the third is digital and participation. Your participation to the workshop was, let's say, defined according to your main preference expressed its registration phase. So just in few cases, the second preference was taken into account. And you will find a list of participants for each workshop in the Padlet that you know has been implemented to where you will find all the agenda, presentation, and useful documents for the events. And also the participant Padlet has been implemented, and we thank you very much for those of you who already put their contact details and photos in the participant Padlet, and really invite those of you who did not yet do it to really put your contact details in the Padlet so that your colleagues could easily find you in case they would like really to get in touch with you directly. That's all on my side, Paul. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, before we go into that very quickly, I'm seeing lots of things on here. I mean, somebody questioned, why are we here? In life, in general, I don't know the answer to that one. Let me think about it. There are a couple of questions I think that you answered. Okay. What are the other priorities of
the
Erasmus+. There are 4 big ones.
Big one.
Digital, green, inclusion, and the one with lots of words, which is something like democratic participation, civic engagement, and
EU values.
Bravo. So this one, that's in my workshop. We will try to address all of those, but another question came, what if we have another idea for a focus group?
No problem.
We don't have room for another workshop. We don't have any more colors for the lanyards. But if you want, you know, why not piggyback the event and put something on the flip chart at the back? Or if you want to go digital, promote yourself via the Padlet. So 2 opportunities to have another discussion. But we hope that that's additional because we already have a fixed and very busy agenda and some fantastic ideas that we hope over. We talk in my world, let's get rid of the coffee break. Let's go to the next one, thanks. We talk in my world about lifelong learning. It feels like a long time ago since lifelong learning, but every day I learn something, so why not? And today I learned that if you are speaking in Italian and you say buonasera, buonasera, it's too early for buonasera. So buongiorno, buongiorno, it's too late for buongiorno. My learning is that actually it should be buon pomeriggio. Buon pomeriggio. Allora, buon pomeriggio. Fantastico. This is kind of good afternoon. We're still afternoon. It's not morning. It's not evening. Buonanotte is sleeping time, yes? Sleeping time. Okay, this is done. I told you I needed energy. What's my name? Paolo.
Paolo.
Just checking you're awake. Why are we here? That was a big question. We are here to change the world through Erasmus+. Okay, just a bit of fun, checking that we are live. We are now going to some more inputs. We only have these 3 beautiful Charlie's Angels. We talk about that. We have a little bit of learning now on the bigger event, the bigger activity, which is coming and leading towards this event today, which we're going to talk about the research results. So Loredana and Michaela are going to share with you, and I hand over the floor directly to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is it working? Yes, okay. So good afternoon from my side, buon pomeriggio. Thank you very much for being here. And I'm going to present quite briefly, and not to be too boring, some of the main results of the research project that we realized in the field, in the framework of the LTA digital transformation in VET. Just a couple of words about the LTAs that stands for this acronym long-term activities. So they are a special kind of TCAs. So are training and cooperation activities as well, but are activities that are developed in longer time. So are activities realized by groups of Erasmus+ agencies together that work on some strategic objectives. So TCAs can be very different kind of things, can be events like this, but can be also, for instance, research projects. And this is the case of the LTA digital transformation in VET. And as already mentioned by my colleagues this morning, this afternoon, our main objective, maybe here? Oops, too fast, okay. The main objective of our LTA was to try to understand the impact of the Erasmus in digital transformation in that. And this sounds a bit ambitious, but what we found interesting is really to try to understand if the participation to Erasmus can really have some changes to the beneficiaries, and how we can use the knowledge that we gather with this research to guide current but also future projects, Erasmus Plus projects, because this is the role of the agencies, this guidance role for the beneficiaries. And so in 2022, we started this activity, and this is 2024, the last year of this LTA, and we had a great contribution, as already mentioned by Ismene today. Our agency coordinated this activity, but we had a great contribution of the Erasmus Plus national agencies of Poland, Slovakia, and Spain. Okay, so of course I'm going to make available my slides on Padlet. So unfortunately these slides are plenty of numbers, and I can't really go into details about everything and about the methodology. I just want to give you the main information, but the slides will be available, so you will have time to have a look more in details, and if you have any other questions, or maybe if you are curious about specific things, we will of course be available today or also after by email. Okay, so as said, we started in 2022 and we started, of course, thinking about the methodology and start our desk analysis, because we wanted to understand which kind of sample to build and to develop in order to really gain the information that we needed for our considering our main objectives. And so we also in this first year, during this first year, we also developed the methodology, the tools that we need for this research. And in 2023, we started this pilot research in Italy, Spain, and Poland. And in 2024, so during 2023, we made the field research that was divided into main phases. The first phases was a quantitative phase with an online questionnaire, and the second phase was to gather qualitative data, so with personal interviews. And we decided to select for our sample beneficiary organizations of Key Action 2 of the previous program cycle, so Erasmus Plus 2014-2020. And we selected only the projects that really addressed the digital priorities, both horizontal priority or that-specific priority, but only in the field of, or only connected to digital topics. So because we really wanted to understand if working directly on this field can really have an impact. And here you can see the sample and the actual respondents and people interviewed. We had a response rate around 43% for the quantitative part, and while almost all the coordinators reached for taking part in the interviews, accepted to take part of this. So we found also a very high interest to be involved and to support this research. Okay, here a couple of words about our samples. As you can see, mostly the sample is composed mostly by private organizations. And on the right, the charts on the right, you see how it is composed. And even though, of course, the percentages are different from one country to another, However, more or less the combination, let's say, of the sample are the same. So we have mostly universities, research entities, private companies, and training organizations. And just a little methodological detail. This is a clusterization of the information that were entered directly by the beneficiaries in the application form. So it can happen, of course, that some beneficiaries belonging to the same category answer maybe differently, but still you can have a general information about which kind of organizations are represented in this sample. And we decided to focus on 4 main dimensions because you know that digital transformation is broad, and so we really had the need to decide which angles to research and to focus on. And so we decided to consider, first of all, the organizational changes. So it's a more general dimension, so not focus only on digitalization. Second, innovation of learning, training, and teaching practices, so more narrow to our topic. Development of digital skills of the staff and synergies with other funding initiatives. So trying to understand if participating in an Erasmus Plus project can trigger the interest and the need to follow up this kind of projects, maybe with other investment in different funding programs, for instance, that support projects on digitalization, of course. And here we start with some results. So here you can see the results of the quantitative research, so the data that we gather from the online questionnaire. And what we decided to do is to build the interviews in a way that can get us some complementary data, let's say. So because the quantitative phase was the first one, and then with the interviews we were able really to integrate the information. So it was a very important phase for us. And here the question was, has the participation in the Erasmus Plus projects modified your organizational structure? And here you can see that the percentages were not that high, so it's higher in Italy and less in Poland and Spain. But if you see on the right, the chart, which are the most significant changes occurred with within your organizational structure still in place today, you see that we were trying to understand if there were permanent changes in the organizational structure. And here it's interesting to see, for instance, that they mention changes in organizational practices, a creation of new professional profile and hiring of staff. Of course, we were not expecting high percentages because, of course, participating in 1, 2, 3 projects, of course, it's not enough to have big, transformation in the internal process, for instance, but still, we can see from this data that something is changing when you start participating in Erasmus, because you start to have new needs, because you need maybe to invest in, for instance, having specific competencies, because maybe you need people that have strong project management skills, for instance, or you need, and here I mentioned also something that emerged from the interviews, that you need to divide your internal offices or departments in offices more focused on key action 1 or mobility, and offices more focused on cooperation projects. So it's something that interesting for us also seeing that they, the beneficiaries are also start also to think on how they can foster the internationalization of their institutions. And again, in this case, you really need to have different kind of new competencies. And of course, you have also here the mention of innovative teaching methodologies and the development of staff skills. Okay, and going more deeper on the digitalization topic. So we ask also if the participation in Erasmus supported the organization and the partner organization to advance towards a higher digitalization of organizational structure and management process. And here you can see that the percentages are quite high, and we try to understand, thanks to again to the qualitative part of this research, what was the reason behind the response no. So it's and we understood that in many cases, the one that reply no to this question are the most advanced in digitalization. This is also interesting. And maybe you remember from my first slides that our sample is composed, for instance, by universities and research entities. So often they are already quite advanced, so they are not connecting the participation to Erasmus to a digitalization, to do an advancement in digitalization. So it's not necessarily a negative reply, but for the ones that recognize a benefit in terms of digitalization, they recognize Erasmus as a push factor for having a better communication and collaborative process, for strengthening the staff's ability to manage big projects and design online training activities, and setting database and digital repositories. This is also very interesting because also from the qualitative, when you see this little icon, this is the data and the inputs that come from the interviews. And so in the interviews, some beneficiaries mentioned this important, this need to manage in a different way the information, the data that they have. So they need to have more centralized procedure. They need to have a good and safe storage of the data, the information. And another thing that I find really, really interesting is the exchange of knowledge between partners, because, you know, when you participate to a project like this, and it's always like this, it starts a circulation of knowledge. So you see what other organizations like your organization is doing, how they are doing things. And so you can learn from them. And for digitalization is even more important because you really need to keep the pace of digitalization. And so maybe you can learn from others what they are doing in this domain. Okay, and the second dimension of that we try to explore is innovation of learning, training, and teaching practices. And here the percentages of the 3 countries are even higher, also because, of course, many of the projects, the Key Action 2 projects, develop innovation in terms of innovative learning and teaching practices. And here it's also interesting to see which kind of innovation they develop. And so we can see here, I'm sorry, it is very, very small, but I think you can then read the slide more in detail when you see on Padlet. But they mention new curricula and training pathways, new working methods, new services, and startup of the management of new projects. And from the interviews, it is interesting, it is mentioned customized curricula. This is also have been already mentioned today. So the development of curricula that are more focused on learners' needs, distance learning and edutainment and gamification to make learning more attractive. And I add the information about what have been mentioned by the ones that reply other to this kind of question: digital accessibility, data digitalization, and production of inclusive teaching materials. This is also very interesting for us. We discussed already a little bit before. And this brings me to the next slide, because for the qualitative part of our research, we decided to have a specific focus on inclusive education. So we added a couple of questions specific on this field, because we wanted to understand if they were aware, let's say, of the two sides of the coin when we talk about digitalization. So first of all, we asked them if the integration of digital technologies into their learning, training, and teaching tools had an impact in terms of inclusive education. And many of them mention a lot of benefits. First of all, in terms of accessibility. So increase the access to education and training to people with limited possibilities. So for instance, because they don't have, for instance, enough resource, or maybe because they live in remote areas. So it's interesting how really technologies can have a huge impact on this. Better time management, this is also very interesting, because for people with family or caring responsibility, the possibility to access to asynchronous training is very, very important. And simplified learning, this is also a very good one. So when you integrate, when you have the possibility to make learning more attractive. So this is also, I think, a very important inclusive aspect that we have to take into account. But what we wanted also to try to understand, if they are also thinking about potential obstacles connected to digitalization. And they actually mention, again, accessibility issues, especially on digital platform, because sometimes, of course, you have, not sometimes, but always, it's important to pay attention when you create something new, when you put learning resource in a digital platform. It is important to understand if this platform is accessible and can be really used by all. And it's also interesting to think about the resource topic. So resource in terms of economic resource, in terms of digital skills, because in order to get the most from digitalization, you have to have everything. You have to have, for instance, a good internet connection. You have to be prepared and to be well equipped in terms of digital skills. And you need to have resources that can be also accessed by people that can have different, for instance, cognitive issues, for instance. And here I also add some of the strategies that some of the beneficiaries mentioned that they use also, and they have used in their experience in order to overcome somehow these issues. So for instance, the distribution of devices, tablet, and personal computer directly to the economically disadvantaged target, for instance. This is a strategy that have been used a lot during the COVID emergency. Open source software. This is also another very important one. So software that are suitable for all types of platforms and including mobile phone, because often mobile phones are the only technological tools that are owned by people with disadvantaged background, and or dedicated tutors online or face-to-face. So this is the strategies that have been mentioned by them. And the last thing that I would like to put to your attention is this a reflection on, I would say, accessibility by design. So some of the beneficiaries that reply to this question on interviews mention the importance that, or at least we realize that they are more sensible about how to design training and educational contents in general. So they start to be pay attention on the way they design this in a more inclusive way. And this is really accessibility, I would say, by design. Okay, so you start thinking already from the first phase of the design how to make it really accessible to all. And I think this is really, really important. And I'm going to hand over to my colleagues for the other two dimensions that we explored.
Thank you, Loredana. We now move to the dimension of the development of digital skills of the staff. As you might see from the table, we are sorry that really numbers are very, very little, but you will get the slides so you can have a deep insight into that. But here, just to really give you an overview that the participation to the Erasmus Plus projects triggered the development of staff digital skills at a high level. And only few organizations said no to this question, but the reason was not due to critical issues, but mainly because their staff was already highly digitalized, or also because let's say the development of digital skills of staff was not one of the main reasons of the project. Looking at the different digital skills implemented by the staff, as you can see from the bottom right, the project management skills was, let's say, developed to a large extent by the staff in the 3 countries involved, while with reference to the ability to use innovative digital tools, communication skills, and project design skills, let's say that the participation to the Erasmus Plus projects triggered different level of skills in the 3 countries. And once again, reasons could be related to the different digital, let's say, national context of the countries, so digitalization of the organization and of the staff involved. Once again, with interviews, we wanted to deep a little bit some of these topics, and in this case, we, for example, explored the training methods which were used, which, let's say, to develop the digital skills of staff, and we saw that for sure formal training was one of the main methods used, for example, to the participation to seminars or ad hoc courses, but was also important to see that peer-to-peer training was very important, in particular with, let's say, more digitally literate or curious individuals who transfer their knowledge to the less, let's say, experienced colleagues. And then, of course, also the self-training, which is always a good tool a method, let's say, to support the learning by using, for example, within the project, I don't know, online communication tool or digital platforms for teaching, but also for sharing documents, Google Suite, and so on. We also explored during the interviews some of the aspects which contributed most to the development of digital competencies. And in this case, for example, we find out that exchange of experiences and expertise of people belonging to different digital cultures, let's say, was one of the aspects, as well as motivation, and of course, COVID. Especially in the projects of the last, let's say, years, because COVID pandemic highlighted that it was extremely urgent to develop and to improve digital competencies. The development of digital competencies has involved different type of staffs, teachers and trainers, firstly, of course, who used platform design, online learning paths, and create learning content also for digital environment. IT technicians, who mainly are involved, let's say, in the technological aspects of this issue. Administrative staff, which became familiar mainly with management and document sharing of platform, but also the managers, with reference in particular to the, let's say, project design and project management skill. Moving to the last dimension explored within the research synergy, we wanted to, let's say, to explore how the synergies with other funding initiatives apart from Erasmus were tackled during the projects. And we found out that, of course, the participation into these projects not only stimulated the participation to new Erasmus Plus projects, but had also a significant impact in terms of stimulating new initiatives funding by other funding resources. With a view of maximizing the efforts and the impact of such initiatives. So thus fostering the sustainability and the follow-up of projects. So once again, Erasmus Plus acted as really a driving force to start a new cooperation and develop new skills in a sort of budding of projects. And in the 3 countries explored, as you can see, synergies mainly concerned European Social Fund, and in the case of Poland, also Horizon. Just to conclude our presentation, we really would like to provide you with some, let's say, food for thoughts, which could be also somehow be useful for you when designing and reflecting about future project ideas. So participation in Erasmus Plus projects has supported, for sure, the digitalization of structures and process innovation, further accelerated by the COVID, but now we need to make this digitalization systemic. So move from the testing phase to the systemic one. So first input to be taken into account. Then the participation in the Erasmus Plus projects also contributed to innovate the educational offer and also to somehow to renew the communication methods among the organizations. So on one hand, if COVID has somehow slowed down the timetable of project implementation, on the other hand, it has contributed to testing a lot new tools and methodologies and technologies developed within the projects. And the next step could be to work more on the quality of the training offer by adapting it to the new technologies, to the technological progress, by addressing these changing needs of the users, with a greater attention on digital pedagogy, as we hear before with Pasi presentation. Then the integration of digital technologies into training paths, for sure, let's say fostered and will foster also in the future the access to a more inclusive education for people with fewer opportunities. And it is extremely important to keep on working on accessibility. But now there is also the need to address the risk of digital divide. for the most disadvantaged people. For example, we know that during the COVID emergency, there has been a strong push which did not allow to duly take into account the need of people with fewer opportunities. But now it's time to really focus on this issue. And there is also the need to address new, let's say, new risk currently underestimated, as we already saw in a previous presentation, such as, for example, disinformation, cybersecurity, personal data security, and so on. The research also highlighted that the development of digital skills transversally involved all types of staff, thus bringing significant benefits to the entire organizations as a whole. And that the development of digital skills also contributed to stimulate great autonomy, self-confidence, coordination capacity, and so on. But we know that many obstacles still persist, mainly related to people's mindset, as we saw before, cultural resistance to change and to technology, especially by older people who are more really reluctant to abandon their comfort zone. It's one of the challenge to be tackled, maybe a little bit more than the technological equipment, which is still considered somehow as an obstacle, especially for public bodies interviewed, who consider that the devices they have, the internet connection are, let's say, still weak and do not allow to, let's say, a huge development of digital skills of their staff. And then, last but not least, Erasmus can really act as a lever to stimulate also the future relevant initiatives on the theme of digitalization, but also synergies with other funding sources to address the needs for additional investment in human and financial resources. So that's triggering a kind of, let's say, virtuous circle that could effectively support the sustainability of project results. I think it's more or less, in few words, what we really gathered during the research.
Okay, thank you very much to both of you. We have, yes, I think the words that came to mind, it's setting the scene for our discussions tomorrow. I heard about change and transformation. This is important in organizations, systems, and structures. About Erasmus Plus as an opportunity for peer exchange and learning, an exchange of knowledge, meeting learners' needs, making that more attractive, but also digital accessibility. And I wrote here, does digital mean more inclusive or less? My mind took me to less, but actually you talked about more.
Yeah,
but I do think we need to recognize there's research out there on digital poverty and digital exclusion from the perspective of not only hardware, software, but also connectivity and infrastructure, and also, I think from a professional point of view, but also from learners, digital literacy and digital skills, keeping in mind that vocational education is not only about the young. So thinking about that as well. And then this digital skills for staff. And I liked this perspective as well. We did have a couple of questions. One, I'm not sure if it's a rhetorical question. It's important, but it's probably bigger than your research. I'm going to read it anyway. It says, how different would the strategies be now that many countries have decided to ban mobile phones from schools? And I think it is that short-term knee-jerk reaction to, oh my God, we cannot control this, so let's ban it. Universities were kind of the same in the beginning. And I don't know if there was anything emerging from the research that said to you, how do we deal with these new technologies? So I don't know, that's one maybe rhetorical, but certainly I think as we build the competence and confidence of educators that this knee-jerk banning of everything and this way of incorporating technology as a model of delivery, that will come forward. Certainly, Pasi, I think you would be in favor of that change. There's a question here, maybe just for clarification on the countries, because the question was, is there any data or research done for Scandinavia? So obviously somebody there, but your focus was just on the participating countries. So the answer for whoever wrote that, who may be online, is no, not yet. But there could be stuff out there. I think you need to do a little digging. Certainly the Commission will be investigating more and more.
If I can,
yes.
if I can maybe add, of course we are going to share, this is the first opportunity for us to share these research results, but we are going to share it more also with other national agencies. So of course we are going to share also our methodology and tools and research tools. So I really hope that maybe this research will be repeated in other countries.
As a prompt for other countries.
Yeah,
to maybe
absolutely.
Take it up and so they have access to your methodology.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Also, okay.
So
watch this space. It might be coming. So, yes, thank you very much for that. We now go into really a more practical final part of the day, which is to hear from Franca. Franca, you're going to take us through the plans for tomorrow, the workshops, etc. So over to you.
Exactly, exactly. So very few instruction, but mostly what you will be asked to do by tomorrow. So just some presentation of the contents of the 3 workshops. The first workshop is called Promoting Twin Transition. So we know that the program through the Action 1 and Action 2 promote basic skills which are at the basic of our daily life. But at the same time, the program is considered as a key tool for promoting knowledge on and promoting skills and attitude on the climate changes and supporting the sustainable development of the European Union and also in the world. So the workshop is aimed to provide examples of innovative tools and support the green transition in the VET section. This is something that we consider it at the basic of the possibility to develop ideas, project candidature that match both the digital transition and the green transition too. Just some figures, because we have selected in the tools, the platform of the project KA2, how many projects have been supported, have been financed that match the 2 priorities. And as you can see, there are very few projects that match the 2 priorities. One of the most developed on such a match is Spain, which have financed 18 projects, but also Germany, France, and Italy. So it's something that can be developed, can be explored. The second workshop will match digital transformation and inclusion. So also in that sense, the program will support the inclusion of people with fewer opportunities. People with fewer opportunities, which belongs to a wide different kind of minority. I mean, you in this big category, you may have migrants, you may have people with economic disadvantage, people who live in remote areas, but at the same time, you may have also people with health difficulties, with health disease. So the category is really wide, but at the same time, the inclusion and the digital transformation may be something which together may be at the same time, as has been already said, something which may support the inclusion, but at the same time something which may increase the digital divide. Oops. Also, okay. Also in that case, you can see that there are still a lot of opportunities for financing projects which match the two priorities, because we have, even if inclusion is one of the most explored priorities in the program, there are still very few projects financed. And in that matching, Italy has the most, has the biggest number of projects financed. Last but not least, workshop 3, beyond vocational skills. And this is the real challenge, because in that sector, we have very, very, very few experience of projects that match the two priorities. So the program are trying to support the participation to democratic life of the European citizen, to stress on the sharing the European values, but also to involve young people in participating to the democratic life. So the program has been considered one of the most suitable tools for this priority. And as you can see, we have very, very, very few projects financed that match the two priorities. So in that case, we have very, very huge opportunity for financing projects which match the two priorities. It's the real challenge of this seminar. Here is represented the three teams that will support you in the three different working groups. So we will have a testimonial which will introduce in each working group a best practice which has been selected, which means a project which has been financed and which can provide you an example of how can be designed a project that match the priorities. There is a supporting coordination of one of DNA staff, but there is also the support of the staff of DNA as a whole. We will have 3 small groups in each working group, in each workshops. So you will be divided into 3 workshops, and each workshop will be divided in 3, at least 3 or 2. It depends on the number of people which will join to each. And you will be invited in fill in a template that you will find in your PC. In each template, you will be invited in providing what kind of project idea you have in mind, and to present your idea to the rest of the group, the group participant, and you will be invited in going deeper way in order to explore all the aspects that will consist a project proposal. So you will be invited to think about the needs, the target groups, the overall goal and the objectives of your idea, the partnership, because we are thinking about KA2 project. So in the morning, you will be focused on this project idea design. It's something not readable, but this is the example of the template that you will find in your PC, and all together you will be invited to fill in not all the issue, but the most important that will recognize and identify your proposal. In the afternoon, you will go deeper in the project design. So you will be invited in identify the smart objectives, the innovation aspect of your proposal, the European added value, but also the expected outcome and results. Of course, as you know, the project application, the application form is something very complex. So we put here all the aspects that you will match in the application form, but we will not have time enough for go deeper in all the aspects. So what we will ask you by the end of the day is to think about the most characteristic aspect which will identify your project proposal. And at the end of the day, we expect that in each workshop, we will have at least one project ideas, but even more, that will be presented the day after. So the day after, you will find another challenge, because in DPC, in the personal computer, you will find a sort of format of slide that in very few aspects will present your project idea. So you will have at least 5 slides which will present your project proposal in terms of needs, targets, and expected outcomes, at least. And that's it.
Thank you, Franca. I mean, we have a famous saying in the English language which says, Rome wasn't built in a day, okay? But we have a fantastic expectation for you to build your projects in Rome in a day. So keep this in mind. I mean, we want you to come tomorrow with your dream. And we will help you together to shape those dreams into more practical, project-based solutions. And we will go on the journey with you. And we will ask questions. And we'll help to guide you. And we will share these experiences. But it's a difficult challenge. But life's never easy. So we're not going to make it that easy for you. We try our best. But for now, we're really going to try to bring the day to a close. Do we have the clicker? The extra responsive clicker? It's super responsive, huh? But there's also somebody else who came along who's going to take us a little bit into the evening. I'd like you to meet the co-moderator who will play a role tonight and during the day tomorrow in the workshop, and of course will be the moderator of the final day when I have to fly off to Copenhagen for another event. So please welcome and bring forward and maybe say a few words Gaetano Fasano, the co-moderator of this event.
Good evening, everybody. Of course, it's a photo of some years ago, but
we're all
it happens. I've been asked to, with facilitating some moments of these 3 days, and we will begin tonight with the dinner. And of course, don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to do something particular, like using, I don't know, a knife instead of a fork or something like that. No, it's just something we organized to have nice conversations between among you, in the tables, on the tables, while eating. So when you come here tonight at 8 o'clock for dinner, you will find
putting it on, 8 o'clock?
Yeah, 8 o'clock. You will find just in the room where not only the food, but also some QR and codes. And you can frame the QR or just insert the code in the Slido app. That's it, Slido. Okay, I've never used it before, but it's a very nice, maybe you already used it today.
We had it today.
Yeah, okay, I saw. And in 3 different moments of the dinner, you will be asked some questions, one question, of course, maybe you have time to discuss with the people that are at your same table, and just to find some words, 1, 2 words, not so much, not so many, and insert in the Slido, so that they will be presented the day after at the workshops. Let's say 20 minutes each question, and of course, when you finish to say, or you have to say about the question, you can say whatever you like to say. It's not how to say, compulsory. Okay. And
so just in summary, just let's remind. So
yeah.
they have to work for their dinner. Yes, there's no free lunch in this society.
Not really, not really. It's a way to know other people, and also to connect and maybe create some networks already here. Okay. And just because they have to work a lot, you ask them to write a project in one day. So okay. Let's begin with the dinner.
Okay, we're going to keep it simple. 3 questions. You have a little chat. You type some words. You upload it. 1 person per table, and then we see what happens tomorrow. It's that simple. 1 question will be about the 3 topics. So 1 for your starter, 1 for your main, 1 for your dessert. Nice and easy. But remember to bring at least your smartphone so you can scan the QR code.
Yeah.
There's no non-digital approach this evening. Digital or nothing. Huh? I think that's the way.
That's why.
Okay, listen, we did a lot of work. It's 2 minutes to 6. Let's not run over. You did a lot of listening today. This is not the case for the rest of the 2 days. Tomorrow you have to work. You bring the ideas, we help to shape, we give you some examples, but we help you to shape those ideas. So please don't come with an empty page. We will give you the empty page, you have to fill it.
But is it time to karaoke?
The karaoke is later, yeah, don't worry. But thank you. Please give yourselves a round of applause. As I say, we finish now. The next section is dinner at 2000, pretty much just across the corridor there in the L's. You go through the door. We will be here to guide you. Enjoy the break. Go and enjoy the sunshine, I think. I have no idea. It's nighttime, and we'll see you a bit later.
See you later.
You.